Welcome back, folks. It's been quite some time, but welcome back to another emergency episode of the Lone Wolf Howlcast. That tonight it's probably going to be the Lone Tiral Howlcast, because he is going to be way more informed about our subject of the evening than I am, although I did put some effort into it. I don't know, Tiral, there's a very important event that's coming up. It might have been, I think we need to talk about Netflix completely hijacking Umbrella Academy as a vehicle for Ellen Page to come out as trans, air quotes here. Is that what's going on? Is that what we're talking about
I
tonight?
thought she did that years ago, though. Didn't she do that
Season
years ago,
3,
though?
no, that was this summer. This summer that
Oh,
came
okay.
out. And they wasted season 3, episode 2 of Umbrella Academy as a vehicle for this. And like the Umbrella Academy family is ultra dysfunctional, and yet, of course, all of her family members think she's stunning and brave. So they wasted a whole episode to embrace Ellen Page's delusions. Is that what we're talking about tonight, or is there something else going on?
I mean, I support him, and but it kind of doesn't sound right. Like if we're trying to normalize gender transition and things like that, you shouldn't make a huge deal out of it. Like,
I mean, if we're trying to
okay,
normalize delusional fantasies and make them stunning and
uh,
brave instead of get the help that they need, yeah, that was
I'm
definitely
just
was not the way
saying.
to go.
I mean, you and I definitely differ on this regard. I mean, but
Oh yes,
but I feel like it's counterproductive, because if you're trying to say, like, accept me as a person, accept me as normal, then you don't make these kind of special episodes that take people out of the show.
right. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
it does not track with the
Yeah,
usual motif and flow of Umbrella Academy at all.
right, right. Like or you do it so well that's folded into the show, but if it's artificial and forced, you're not doing anyone any favors.
Correct. But anyway, I think I know what we're supposed to talk about tonight. I just remembered. Andor. Andor is deep into season 1. I think the finale is one
Really
or two
good,
episodes away. Right? Is that the big thing we're supposed to talk about tonight? This
dude.
emergency
Man,
Howlcast?
and listen, Andor might have saved the Star Wars franchise, man. Like, Mando saved it, and then we thought, like, oh, it's gonna be good now, and it wasn't. And then Andor came out, and it's like, oh, this is actually nice. Like, Disney can actually do something good with Star Wars. That's fantastic. It's not just
You know why?
Mandalorian.
Because even though her name is in the executive production credits, I don't think Kathleen Kennedy had many hands on that project.
She has minimal influence in Disney right now. She just gets paid to not show up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to reference that somewhere because otherwise, I think that's a liability suit.
No, it's she had a contract extension, but then was taken off of, like, any decision making position. She has her executive producer credit on everything Star Wars, but in terms of actually making any decisions, she's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, this it's actually a different guy, and I've been trying to memorize the name, and guess what, Pharrell? I completely forgot the name. It's not Dave Filoni, and it's not Favreau, but man, does it read and play like a Favreau Filoni project. It is dark, it is gritty, it is saving the franchise as far as I know, and it's also, I don't want to say retconning, but smoothing over the colossal. We're just about. I think we're just about in, right? We're about how the hell have we been recording an hour? We just started. Wow. All right, I guess I'm gonna have to edit it. Anyway, it's smooth over the colossal steaming pile of horseshit that was the prequel trilogy. And you got, retarded Jar Jar Binks helping to stabilize the Senate with some asinine, monkey speech that he gives. But they're smoothing that over with this, with Mon Mothma taking a stand in the Senate. And I think that's doing leaps and bounds a better job of showing what a colossal dysfunctional state the Imperial Senate is in than the nonsense with Jar Jar Binks.
Did you notice that with Andor, there's no jokes anywhere? Like that was like a key directorial decision. Like we're gonna talk about something serious. We're gonna do something serious. No jokes, no cutesy stuff.
Yeah, nobody is taking their lot in life flippantly at all. Like everybody's like almost hard boiled, into their
Mm-hmm,
path.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't even think there's anything situationally funny that you could react to with the laugh. I'm pretty sure I chuckled once or twice, but that's because I'm very weird, folks, and I probably shouldn't have.
No, it was clearly a decision from the outset. We're not gonna make a joke out of anything. Boba Fett, the director, so didn't give a shit about the show. Like
Dude, we cannot go down the path of Book of Boba Fett, where the real topic we're trying to get to tonight is never going to happen.
yeah. No, I
I
mean,
am
but like
so
with
pissed.
Andor, they're taking it serious. Like the director has a very serious mindset. The actors on set are very clearly not taking it just a paycheck, and it visually shows. It really. Uh, I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi, man. Like you can't tell me the actors on set really cared what was going on. There was like one good scene in the entire show. It was when Obi-Wan
Don't even
and
get me on that, man. Don't
to
even
go
get me
for it.
started on that.
Let's do it.
All right, real quick. So, well, it's been out. It's been out for at least 3 months now, right? Even the
Yeah,
season
we
one
don't have to
finale
say
already happened,
spoiler
right?
alert.
So,
Yeah, like
well, there's not going to be any time to edit that tonight because I've been joking about the topics and we're getting to a real topic very soon. And there's not going to be any time to edit at all. This is all going to be in the raw, folks. No protection. Um, that scene where they finally fight and they're out in this desert and they finally come to grips and they fight and Vader buries Obi-Wan under tons of rock and then turns to walk away, thinking, rightfully so, that he killed Obi-Wan just by burying him to death. And that would have made the scene in New Hope all the more poignant when Vader says, I haven't felt this presence since, and he looks around and then storms off. That scene in Obi-Wan could have easily been what he was referencing in New Hope because he thinks, I've killed the guy, I'm leaving victorious, and now New Hope happens, and all of a sudden he's like, oh shit, I'm sensing Obi-Wan, and I shouldn't be because I'm pretty sure I killed him many years ago. That would have played into that so much better instead of Obi-Wan like force choking the rocks and jumping out and it being some dumbass fight. And, he's got Vader at his mercy and he's like, goodbye, Anakin. See you soon. Winky, winky face. And then leaves. That was so horrible. Would have been perfect if Vader walked away thinking he had killed Obi-Wan by burying him under tons of rock. And that would have led to that New Hope scene and added so much more gravity to it. The end.
I
Rant
agree.
over. Thank you.
I agree. That was the best scene in the entire series. That was the whole
But it
thing.
should have
Oh,
ended a
okay.
certain way so that it would have fed into New Hope a lot better. Because Vader would have left. His whole point was pursuing Obi-Wan, right? Was pursuing Obi-Wan and killing him. So he would have just
Yeah.
left. He would have left whatever not sand planet that was a sand planet that they were on and gone back to brooding in his castle on Mustafar.
Bro, I'm not so sure the people making these shows actually like Star Wars. So, I mean, you might be thinking it way deeper than what these people have.
What you're saying is I should be an EVP on these projects and that I should submit my
I mean,
resume
a
as a super
consultant,
fan,
a writing, yeah, like
a writing
it's
consultant. I would
Andor.
just
You can feel them caring. and you
Right.
can just
You
see
can
it on
feel
screen.
that the fan service is there. They know they need to have to satisfy their baked in, entrenched fans that are looking for something with some meat on it instead of just flippant lines being thrown out here and there. And I feel like Ewan McGregor was just phoning it in for Obi-Wan. He was
Yeah,
flat. He was almost monotone. You know what he was like? He was very much like Hayden Christensen was in the sequel, the prequel trilogy, where he was just flat, monotone. You could have just put a cardboard cutout in with like a voice box on it. That's how Ewan McGregor's performance felt in Obi-Wan.
not engaged. Also, they kind of
Yeah.
did like character assassination in the beginning of the season.
Well, I
Like,
don't
you
know
think
about that.
Obi-Wan would just like become a bum and like forget his Jedi training? Like, what?
Yeah, but it was 10 years. Like 10 years had passed. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, he was a Jedi master, but he realizes, well, I can't draw attention to myself. So I really need to suppress the art, And then it's like you lose your gym membership discipline. You go, and then you slack off a day or two, and it's like, okay, I'll go tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, you don't go. Okay, I'll go tomorrow. And like you go one day out of the week instead of the 4 days out of the week that you plan, and then that one day becomes a little harder and harder to go. That's how I read it. Plus,
I
he knew
hated.
he wouldn't be able to practice the Jedi arts because it would draw attention.
I still hated it, and I hated Leia, toddler Leia. Whoever
Well,
thought that
come
was a
on,
good
man! It had to
idea?
be a vehicle for strong women, no matter how old they are.
Oh my God, it was
You
so
know?
bad. I don't blame the kid for not being able to act. Like, she's a kid, but everything around it, like, it's just, who signs up to
Okay,
watch this?
we are gonna rant about Star Wars all night. We need to get to the real topic because, as I
I mean,
said,
this topic is
this is
more
going in
fun.
raw.
I'm just putting it out there.
It has. And last comment, I mean, every guy born before 1980 had a major bro crush since May 21st, 1980, when Empire Strikes Back came out, and we got to meet Boba Fett. And then with that hope and desire that Book of Boba Fett was going to be awesome and that he would be this cold, calculating, merciless crime boss. And no, he becomes your fat uncle who doesn't know how to hold his rifle and his helmet at the same time. And completely, as we've discussed before, right? Completely and utterly fails upwards
Yeah,
just
just doesn't
because
give a
everybody
shit.
else is more incompetent.
Or that he's got the biggest gun, so he's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna do this now. And
Yeah, his biggest gun is Fennec. At least she's capable.
yeah, yeah, like, I mean, it's
All
just, that
right,
was such a bad show. Okay, all right, yeah, we'll be
real
serious now.
topic. Here we go, folks. So we're actually going to give away. I mean, I don't think there's any way to avoid this. We're going to give away where we're from a little bit anyway, which we haven't done before. This is kind of a big step for us. Is the New York State gubernatorial elections are tomorrow, as well as the Attorney General for New York State, and I believe some representatives as well, right?
Yep, we got both senators and House people.
And the AG is up
Yes, and the
as
AG.
well,
Right.
and obviously this little known position called the governor is up.
Yeah,
And man, I looked at the
clearly
ballot.
unimportant.
I, I looked at the ballot, and I was trying to study the ballot today, allegedly during my work hours. And man, there's no middle ground. It is split. It is full blown. Actually, let me retract that statement. It is split. There is no middle ground. There's no independence on the ballot as far as I could tell. Okay, Hochul is under Working Families, which is supposed to be an independent, but Hochul is a dyed in the wool Democrat, and we have Lee Zeldin, who is a very far right Republican. I don't feel I don't feel like Kathy Hochul is a very far left Democrat though. Like I don't feel like she's got that bleeding heart, full blown Antifa vibe about her.
No, she doesn't. She was just the second in command to the previous governor, and once he had
So
to resign because of sexual, harassment, she was just the next one up. She's not a natural politician. She's more like a worker. Lee Zeldin
right,
is a hardcore MAGA Republican,
yeah, dude, he had Ron DeSantis up here campaigning for him. The governor
which
of
is we.
Florida came to little known Long Island to pick up the reins and the fireworks for Lee Zeldin.
Which is the strangest thing because DeSantis has gone on TV and gone on podiums and talking shit about New York State for years. Like he
That's funny
hates
because
New York.
Florida is New York adjacent. Like most
Right.
New York retirees go to Florida.
Yeah, it was just like when I saw the news that DeSantis was stumping for Lee Zeldin, I was like, DeSantis has days of video talking shit about New York and New York State. What the hell is he doing? It's the MAGA Republican thing is pretty
That's the
real.
thing, though, is Trump and DeSantis had a falling out, and they're splitting.
They
And
never
DeSantis was like his
liked each
biggest
other.
altar boy.
Right. They never liked each other. Trump knew this guy was a setup and basically copying Trump like word for word, speech pattern by speech pattern. And like Trump really hated it. And DeSantis, to his credit, was really good at faking being Trump. And Florida responded.
Well, he did
And
a damn good job because he's like the messiah in
yeah,
Florida.
he's considered smart Trump. Like what if you had another Trump but smart? That's what scares
Dude, I
me
would
about
say
him.
not only is he smart Trump, but he's even a more extreme version of Trump with his legislations and whatnot. And he's a Bible thumper,
You can
which is even scarier.
It's a very easy case, a very easy argument to make that he sacrificed Florida lives for political points. It's
You know what I mean,
not a
man?
stretch.
Even though there's something in the amendments to the Constitution about separation of church and state, blah blah blah. I kind of want to see a candidate who's backed by the Church of Satan. Have you read their bylaws? They're pretty
No,
awesome bylaws. We won't judge you as long as you're not a horrible human being. Is like number one. Also, guess what? It's the only religion that pays taxes.
I-
They want to better people. It's very funny.
it's just. I mean, you know how much we love Game of Thrones. Like, you can see what DeSantis did in Florida, and he converted human lives into popularity national. It's
You got to
it's
give an
really
example of
incredible.
that, and then we have to be able to link that because you're making a statement there that we have to be able to provide some evidence
So
for.
he basically banned. He kicked out the lead data scientist in Florida who was tracking COVID hospitalizations, infections, and deaths. He
What's your source
fired
for that?
her.
Where are you getting that from?
That's a fact. That's history. Because
Yeah,
after
but what's your
when
source, man?
she
Where are you finding that information?
the entire news. This is the entire news. You can look at any major news source and you can find all about it because when she realized she was getting fired because she was tracking the actual data, she gave the data away to reporters and whatnot, and he sent a SWAT team into her house, full guns and everything, to get to arrest her and get her computer. Like he put a COVID denier as the Surgeon General for the state. He manipulated the data. He opened up the state to anti-lockdowns way before anyone else did. So like literally people were dying. I mean, because you look at the demography of Florida, it's much older. There's not a lot of young people living in Florida compared to the rest of the United States.
Right.
People died. People legit died, but he went on TV and he talked about being MAGA and COVID is a hoax and it's this and that, and he became popular nationally at the cost of the people of his own state.
Yeah, it
And
sounds like he was in line with what's her name from South Dakota, right? Where Sturgis were open for
yes,
business,
yeah,
and then
oh
like
my
I don't
god,
know, 700 people from the Sturgis
she
rally ended up dying or something like
she
that.
she's another one that like you can make a very easy case that she sacrificed human lives for popularity. She has ambitions to be on the national stage. She I'm getting her name. South Dakota mayor, governor. Actually, really pretty person. Christy Nome.
Oh, she's a serious MILF. I'm okay with saying that. And on the other
Pr-
side of that, I'm also cool with the was it the Wisconsin governor that there was that kidnap attempt against?
oh, Megan Whitmer. Yeah, Megan Whitmer.
Whitman or Whitmore?
Whitmer. Yeah,
Okay,
Megan Whitmer. The
kind
thing
of
with
kind of on the
Christy
MILF scale
Nome,
too there.
yes. The thing with Christy Nome, which is actually worse than Ron DeSantis, is they they were the entire federal CDC and everybody was telling her and the state like, listen, can't run Sturgis. Like this is a super spreader event. Please don't do this. Like people are gonna die. There's gonna be nothing good that will come out of this. And she heard all the scientists, all the doctors, all the administrators, and she said, "No, we're doing Sturgis." And she did it, and then she got so much popularity, in the right wing because she fought against the CDC. And two 2 years of Sturgis happened under her watch, and her state became literally the epicenter of COVID in the Midwest. And she, to her credit, she didn't lie with her numbers like Ron DeSantis did. Like they didn't
Right.
manipulate the numbers, they didn't fake it. But because she didn't fake it, it was clear that like her state, like everyone expected, it became a super spreader event with Sturgis and has suffered greatly. But
Well, not only
she
that,
sacrificed
people brought it home too because not
all over the
everybody
world,
who
all
goes
over
to
the country.
Sturgis comes from South Dakota. They come from all over the country.
Hmm. Oh, yeah, it was. I think they considered it the biggest super spreader event national. Those 2 years of Sturgis rallies, because
And
like you
people
said,
died
people
because
all
of
over the
it.
country. Yeah, people definitely died, and I mean, unfortunately, the strains of COVID that came out of New York were much more lethal. A lot of New York bikers went to Sturgis, and that's one of the ways that the Midwest got a very lethal form of COVID. It's so Christy Nome, Ron DeSantis, these people legitimately traded human lives for popularity.
Popularity, yeah.
I,
Well, let's get back to our neck of the woods because we're gonna
okay,
make
yeah.
this a quick one because I'm
I
gonna
mean,
try and
so
get this posted tonight.
the main thing with Kathy Hochul is she's not a real politician. I mean, of course she's forced to be because what happened, with her sexual harassment thing. But she's not a natural. She's like a competent bureaucrat. And
Do we know her
Lee
background?
Zeldin,
What is her
I
background
can
before she was lieutenant gov?
look it up.
Was she a lawyer or was she? Because she does seem very stiff, but you're right, competent. There's definitely a competency there and an intelligence that unfortunately is grossly lacking in the greater United States right now for political figures.
Yeah, she started out as a clerk and just came up through the ranks. Came out of Syracuse University, got a law degree from Catholic University in Washington D.C. And she just moved up the ladder.
There must
And
have been something there because Cuomo was a Republican. He picked a Democrat to be his lieutenant.
I think it was more bureaucracy. Like just she was good at her job, did what she was told. She she was anti-heroin. She was pro-economic development. Just she. It's one of those things where life placed her where she is, and she did an okay job, I guess. She can't say she did a bad job, and definitely we couldn't keep Cuomo in there. So, but Lee Zeldin, man, that guy. Oh, he's from. By the way, he's from our district. So like I've had to deal with Lee Zeldin pamphlets for years and phone calls to vote for him because I'm a registered Republican.
Yeah, I know.
And
Freaking phone calls and text messages and TV
constant,
ads.
yeah. It's he did the military service and he's used that as like a cudgel to be more American than anybody else. And
He was a Marine. He's in the Marines, I think, right?
I let me check.
I'm checking
But
too. I'm pretty sure he was a Marine.
constantly talking about it, like that. It's like, okay, we get it, like, but that's not, you're still a POS. Like, it doesn't.
Oh, my bad. I apologize
Huh?
to all of the uniformed armed services out there. He was Army. He was
He
not a
was Army.
Marine. I got that completely wrong.
He's
Army
also
ROTC commission as a second lieutenant and served in the Army from 2003 to 2007. It doesn't say anything about active duty here.
yeah. Like the thing is, in a rational world, like we would say that neither one of these people would be, governor candidates. Like Hochul's not a leader, and as a governor, you kind of. I mean, that's not a bureaucrat's job. Like a governor is really like supposed to be the
Yeah, the
head
charisma.
coach of the
The
entire
charisma
state.
score
Yeah,
is
like
like 20 plus.
yeah, you gotta lead people. You gotta make some hard decisions. It's not like a
Which,
paperwork
regardless of
job.
what you think of Cuomo, he had that charisma. He
He
got in front
did.
of
He
the
had that
camera and you
forcefulness.
stopped and listened.
Hmm. He had
Yeah,
that force of will. Yeah, and I mean, Kathy Hochul isn't. She's a bureaucrat, and,
yeah.
and Lee Zeldin is slimy. He just lies, tells you he's going to do things that you can't do.
So that I was
And
able to read up on is that Hochul has details of plans in place, and Zeldin was just pretty much talking out of his ass about what he thinks he's going to do, but doesn't
yeah,
have anything detailed to the degree
it's
that
all
Kathy
MAGA.
Hochul does.
Yeah, it's all MAGA stuff. But the thing is, despite that, they're really close. They're super close. Like
Yeah, I
in
think
terms
they're a
of the
point and
poll.
a half apart or
Yeah,
something like
it's
that.
a
I think Kathy was like 49-point change, and he was 48 and change.
it basically means like if New York City comes out to vote, Hochul will win. If all the rural parts of the New York State and Long Island comes out, then Lee Zeldin will win. That's basically what it sounds like.
You remember
Now
when we went to New York City a couple weeks ago, and it was a
mhm.
ghost town?
Well, we also went on a Sunday.
Yeah, whatever. It still was a ghost town. There was like no people around on the street. Everything was closed. When's the last time you ever saw New York City like that? New York City is known as the city that never sleeps.
That's no, that's old news, man. It hasn't been like that for over a decade. New York City's gentrified, bro. Regular people don't live there. It's only for the rich. It's just residential stuff. Like that's why Manhattan isn't like where you go to have fun. You go to have fun in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And now you really, if you really want to have like fun, like a natural way, you go to New Jersey, man. New Jersey is way more happening than New York City is.
I thought you
I'm
were going to
dead
say
serious.
Astoria.
No, no, no. Astoria is
We'll go
gentrified
to
as
the
hell.
Armenian district and have some
There
fun.
is no dude. When I first immigrated to this country and I moved to New York, Astoria, I had a lot of people I knew in Astoria. Astoria was cultural as hell. There were so many different people from all over the world. I had like a real gyro from with goat, like it was amazing. But it's been gentrified to hell, so it's nothing but like it's nothing to write home about. That's most of New York City at this point, as far as I can tell. It's not the same. But going back to politics, like, okay, that's our governor, and like more than that, there's even more. What else is going on? Key midterm contest. Yeah, the governorship is really the big one in New York, I think.
Well, there's also some. I don't remember if they're senators or representatives, but like Lolata and a couple other names keep popping up. The names I can't remember right now. But like the ads have just been nuts.
Constant.
Both, yeah. Well, not only that, not only the frequency of the ads, but the content is just like villainous. Each ad is painting the other candidate as like like like
The worst
Sauron
human being.
almost.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's yikes. It's a big yikes. I mean, I think that's everything. Like, where like you're no longer voting for who the best person is. You're voting so that the enemy won't win, and the enemy wants to see you like destroy everything you care about. Like the other side, no matter what side you're on, the other side wants to kill you, like, and destroy everything you believe in. That's what it all looks like.
And then they almost have this subcontext of you're part of the problem if you vote for the other guy.
Yes.
And it's like I just want to see some sort of stability come back, without it being extreme to one side or the other.
I think you're not gonna get that.
I'm not, so some real talk, I'm very inclined not to vote because I'm not really feeling either candidate. But I know not voting pretty much ends up being a vote for one or the other anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell do you do? You're damned. Go ahead.
They're saying the biggest problem with this year's midterms is like the young people are not showing up. Like, so
Yeah, have you
early
noticed on the news that
voting.
all the early voting has been older people, like retirees
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah, we're all wondering where the young people are. I mean, also, to be honest, even though New York is important to us, like this year, the midterm election is really about Pennsylvania, Arizona. Like those are the two big states that everybody's like staring at, worried.
Dude, Arizona election officials are already getting like severe death threats.
Yeah,
and that's all over the news. They're getting like execution threats. We know where you live.
In the last
Yeah, go.
in the last 5-7 days, almost every day, somebody's house has gotten shot up. Some candidate, whether Democrat or Republican, had a bullet go through either their house or the grandparents' house or something. Like we're reaching the points of like political violence really fast. Like Pelosi's husband got a hammer to his head by assassin trying to kill Pelosi. We're this is really strange. This is very, very not normal. The temperature is very high right now. Yeah, I
Well,
don't
I
know.
guess we got
Every
less than
day
24
somebody's gotten
hours.
shot at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll vote
We got less
tomorrow.
than 24 hours before this goes to the polls. So I guess time will tell, and it remains to be seen which way it swings tomorrow.
It's supposed to swing Republican because whoever the president is or whoever's in power usually gets kicked out of power. So in, let's say, a normal time, we would just assume that, hey, is the president Democrat? Yeah. Or is the House Senate Democrat? Yeah. Then midterms, the Republicans come in, and vice versa. The issue this year and the reason why people are losing their minds is because so many Republicans are election deniers and basically anti-democracy. That many people are sounding the alarm that, hey, if we bring in all these people who don't believe in votes and don't believe in voting and don't believe in the law, and if their team wins, everything's fine. But if the other team wins, the other team must be cheating and this doesn't count. We've got a serious, serious problem. And that's the reason why this year's midterms is so important. I know every election cycle, they say this is the most important election of your life. Like I mean, that's been the saying and it's stupid and everyone tunes it out. But this one, we've never I guess since before Civil War times, we never had one party be so dominated by anti-democratic contingent. Like if the other team loses, everything's fine. But if my team loses, the other team was cheating and we're not going to accept it. There's already lawsuits in multiple states to nullify people's votes. There's also already candidates saying publicly, like, "Hey, if I lose, it's because the other guy cheated, and I'm not going to accept uh, uh, their victory." Like, we can assume that every Republican who loses tomorrow will refuse to accept the loss.
Yeah, I've
That
seen a
is,
lot of that in the news too, where it's like, what happens if somebody refuses, to concede?
yeah, like it's like now the game plan is to never accept defeat, never just go along with the law or go along with you know what happened. You just refuse, refuse, refuse. Uh, I mean, here's this 6 main states. Looking at Arizona, looking at Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. To me, Pennsylvania is the craziest one, then followed by Arizona. Pennsylvania, through sheer luck, on one side, you got John Fetterman, who's a stroke victim and clearly recovering from a stroke. Now, that takes time. And
Uh-huh.
unfortunately, he decided that even though he's a stroke victim, he's going to keep running for governor. And across from him is a carpetbagger, Mehmet Oz, never lived in Pennsylvania, like bought a house so he can run for governor because Trump, boosted him. Drinks his own piss, has multiple scams that he's pulled to make money. He doesn't even know the Pennsylvania's like map. Like he thought that Pennsylvania was next to the Atlantic Ocean. Like like the dude is grifter, egomaniac, a liar, and has nothing to do with Pennsylvania, and is multimillionaire. And those are Pennsylvania's two choices right now. We got a stroke victim who maybe wasn't the most likable guy in the even before, and we have a grifter, like a legit scam artist who happens to be a doctor, surgeon that Oprah brought into the world. It is bizarre, man. And the reason why I say Arizona is the second craziest is we've got this news reporter, news anchor lady named Carrie
Hmm.
Lake, who's gone full MAGA, like full lunatic MAGA, and she's going up against like kind of like their version of our Kathy Hochul, like a bureaucrat. Like she was just in line, and they decided, like, okay, you're the one who's gonna be the governor. And this other lady has no skill, no charisma, kind of has that presumptuous like, hey, the other person's crazy, I should be the governor, and who has refused to debate. Meanwhile, Carrie Lake, okay, I already mentioned that she's crazy fringe MAGA, right?
Hmm.
She's absolutely charismatic. She's a fighter. She has really good presentation skills. She's really good on the mic. She's completely stupid and lunatic, but she's so good on the mic. She's so combative. She comes off like just as a winner, and you're just gonna see like, wait a minute, this woman they're both women. This person who's clearly insane, clearly incompetent, has zero qualifications, might become a governor. That is, it is. Oh my God, I don't even know what the Arizonians are gonna do. Like
Mm.
I feel bad for PA because you know John Fetterman legitimately should have just stepped down when he had his stroke. Be like, the best thing for Pennsylvanians is for me to step aside and focus on my health, and then I'll come back later. That would have been the wisest thing. But they're in this crazy situation where both choices seem like, turd sandwich versus, like, and in Arizona, you got this craziness going on where, like, we're completely bizarre. Georgia, people find interesting, but the governor of Georgia, who's a Republican, did a good enough job that people in Georgia really liked him. Like, he was not popular. Like, they kind of cheated, so he beat Stacey Abrams. But as governor, he did good, and people are like, well, why change? Because he did good. Michigan, I'm
Well,
not too
look, my
familiar
friend,
with.
it's getting late, and I got to get this posted tonight.
Okay.
So we're gonna do
I'm saying
that,
Michigan,
or I'm gonna do that.
Nevada, Wisconsin. We don't know what's really going on there. Like, I'm unfamiliar. But Pennsylvania, Arizona is crazy interesting.
Well, let's wrap it up here
Mhm.
because I still got to get it posted.
I would
So
much rather talk Star Wars.
yeah, that'd be pretty darn awesome. But we're pretty much out of time if I'm going to get this up tonight. And once
Yeah.
Andor
Okay.
finishes, I think it only has 1 or 2 episodes left, and we could definitely talk about that because I would love to talk more about
Yeah, let
that.
me come over for season finale, and then
Yeah, I'll
we'll
do a
talk.
watch for a season finale. Sure.
Cool.
Cool. All right, folks. Well, there you have it. We'll see what happens in less than 24 hours. All right. Well, once again, thank you all for joining us. Hopefully, we can get back to making these a little more consistent. We apologize for the long breaks, but Taral and I both have real world jobs and families to contend with. So,
Just vote regardless of your politics. Just participate in democracy. Go vote. That's it.
all right. Have a good night, everybody.